Okay, what is my favorite A.L. Jackson and Katy Regnery book and why? Well, for A.L. Jackson, I have to go with Take This Regret because it was the first one of hers that I read, and I just remember being so absolutely caught up and captivated by the story. Like it was one of those stay on the couch all day reading, stir the spaghetti sauce with one hand while holding the book in front of my face with the other kind of book for me. It was really my first taste of how well Amy does that really great kind of angst where you're suffering, but you trust the author to deliver you from the pain you're experiencing for the characters. So it makes it this really sort of delicious agony, you know? Yes, you know. And Katy, I've unfortunately only read one of Katy's books so far, The Vixen and the Vet, but just that one is at the top of my favorites. Katy has this way of writing that just tells you immediately what a good person she is. You know what I mean? You know how some authors write characters in such a way that makes you say, there's just no way this author is anything other than a really beautiful person. And now that I know Katy, I know that that is absolutely the truth. But I love The Vixen and the Vet because it's just such a beautiful, sweet romance from cover to cover. It's one of those stories that makes you swoon and sigh the whole way through and then end it feeling all mushy, like you want to go out and just love the world. It has so much goodness in it, and so few romances these days have that ingredient, and I just absolutely love that about Katy.
Oh, my favorite books of Katie and Mia. That's such a hard choice because they're both two of my favorite authors. But, of course, I loved Archer's Voice. There was something so spectacular about that book from Mia Sheridan. But my favorites, I think, were Becoming Calder and Finding Eden. There was just something about those stories and the way that Mia did them. They were so different and unique, and it was just a story that I was not expecting. When she sent them to me to read, I was like, oh my God, I had no idea, how deep that she was going to get in this. And it was also set in Arizona where I live. And, it just had my like mind turning, like, does this really happen? And you wonder if there's like people like that are out there. And the love story was so intense. And I loved that it started as, when they were kids. So love those. And then for Katie's, I think I would have to pick The Vixen and the Vet. I just loved him. He was so awesome. He was scarred and broken and hiding, and I just love that she brought him out of that and made him feel special and beautiful like he was. It was just such a great story. I felt the intensity, like when that she first goes to his door and he's watching her through the mirrors. Oh my God, I got shivers. So I just love the connection that they had, and that immediate awareness. It wasn't instant love, but it was an awareness that there was just something between them, and he was just such a special character. So those are my favorites.
Hey, Mac Babes, it's Katie here. You know what's interesting that I've noticed in the past couple of days? Mia says Mackers. I say Mac Babes, and Amy goes back and forth between Mac Babes and Mackers. So I'm not sure what we are yet, except awesome, because clearly we're awesome. All of us, all of you. So that's what we have in common. I am answering question 1 today. What books of Mia's and Amy's do I love the best? So, quick story. When I was writing The Vixen and the Vet, after I published it, and it sold like 5 copies, the few people who read it, thank you, you know who you are, were like, oh my God, the story reminds me so much of Mia Sheridan's story, Archer's Voice. And so I got really interested in her book and read Archer's Voice, completely fell in love with it, of course. And what I remember the most is we were on a family road trip, and I'd gone into, like a 7-Eleven to get a soda, and it was when Diet Coke was doing the names on the bottles, and the bottle I chose said Brie. I was like, fate! And I sent it to Mia, totally fangirling, never having met her in my entire life. And I was like, oh, I just got this bottle of soda and I love your book. And she wrote back, she's like, I love it! You're so cute! She was like, this is the thing with Mia, you fall in love with the person just as fast as you fall in love with the books. Speaking of falling in love, I'm also in love with A.L. Jackson, Amy, Now, Amy, I read before, in fact, if you can believe this, and of course you can. I read Amy a long while back before I knew who Mia was. And I did not read the Take This Regret series. I read the Come to Me series. And I got so addicted to it. And I remember being in a hotel in I think I was in Tampa with my husband, and it was raining the whole weekend, and it was cold. You know, it's supposed to be nice when you go to Florida from Connecticut. Instead, it was cold the whole weekend. But I sat out on this veranda of this hotel in Tampa with like a blanket over me. And, you know, it was like OPM, Other People's Money. It was my husband's company. So it was a super nice hotel, and they brought me blankets. And I sat in this wicker chair reading Come to Me Softly and like couldn't put it down. Like having so many naughty thoughts too. Because Amy writes hot, hot, hot. And so I love A Stone in the Sea also, but my first Mia like love affair was with the Come to Me series. I just loved it so much. My favorite, so I'm going to go with that one for my favorite book of Amy's, and for my favorite book of Mia, it's I love Archer's Voice. I love all of Mia's books. I love Stinger, but my favorite is Kyland. I seriously, you know, when Queen Elizabeth says in Shakespeare in Love, she wants to see a play that really tells the story of love and gets to the heart of love. That's what Kyland is for me. So these ladies are phenomenal. Phenomenal. To even be in a group with them is like the biggest thrill of my life. Okay, Mac Babes. I'm going to go with Mac Babes. We will be back next Thursday with another video.